And good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to Coffee Talk, brought to you by the International Dance Entrepreneurs Association, also known as IDEA, and you can learn more at ideadance.com. Coffee Talk, we are all about sharing our passion for dance education and studio ownership and just dance in general. Today's guests are Dr. Claudette Gendreau Demers. I don't know if I said that right.
That's fine.
Claudette, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'm a clinical psychologist. I am in practice. And like you, the out edges of my practice has changed. I no longer see patients in my office. I see patients on Zoom. I see patients on FaceTime. I talk to patients on the phone. So my entire setup has changed as yours. I live here in Massachusetts. I live between Boston and Cape Cod. I have degrees from Harvard and all of that other happy stuff. And I've been in practice for 38 years. So I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm not over the hill yet. And I still want to dance.
You absolutely are not. And we're going to get you dancing.
I want to dance. Yeah, with the right group.
This very serious degree doctor, we refer to as Dr. Claudette around here. So feel free to do the same. We also have Debra Steele, an IDEA member. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, my friend.
First of all, I'm very honored to be on with Dr. Claudette. I'm feeling very honored. I have owned a studio for 35 years, have seen a lot in that 35 years. Things have changed and grown in ways that I would have never guessed. And hence, I think we end up growing in those ways as well. Very, very blessed to be part of this wonderful organization. I feel strongly about it. And I think that this is going to be a great coffee talk.
Awesome. Debra, keep talking. I feel like your volume may have gone out a little.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, I just turned up my volume, so.
Okay, so all of you who are watching today, write and let us know where you're from. And if you have any questions for Dr. Claudette as we're moving through, feel free to leave those in the comments. Mm-hmm. But before we begin, I want to give you a couple of quick announcements. In 2 weeks on January 24th, same time, same channel, we will have Coffee Talk with Melissa Hoffman and Sandy Duncan in a broadcast we're calling Friends for Life, focusing on how cool dance is, because sometimes we start class at age 3 and those dance friends are our life friends. And that's the case with Sandy and Melissa. Following that, I'm giving you this early. On February 7th, we're doing a coffee talk called Girl Power. It will feature Trisha Gomez, Terry Mangiarardi, Stacey Morgan, all the way from Australia, Andrea Trench and Mandy Yip, all powerful business women. And we're going to talk about how cool it is for them to be the leaders in our industry at this point and how to inspire other women to head in that direction. Okay, before we go into the official conversation, I'm going to share with you a commercial for the Dance Life Teacher Conference. We'll be back in 1 minute. Awesome. Welcome back. Those of you who would like to join us this summer at the Dance Life Teacher Conference, we'd love to have you there. You can learn more at dancelifeconference.com. Okay, here we go. Dr. Claudette, I feel like you told me you had a thought or a quote that you wanted to begin with today.
I think in the middle of everything that we're involved in, I think it's really, really important to don't stay in a place where you have forgotten how to dream. Dream. Even if the dream looks different than the dream looked 2 years ago, dream. Think broadly, but dream. Because once we drop away from or feel that we can't dream, our creativity will drop. Our depression pieces will rise. It's important to know that you can still dream. Even if the dream is not the dream that you had 2 years ago, still dream.
What do you say to those who might be listening, watching, who say it's hard to dream right now because we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks?
And in life, we always seriously don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. We would like to plan it. We would like to think that we have a pretty good handle on what's going to happen in 2 weeks. And I think it's important to plan and try to organize so that things are not chaotic, but we don't really know. And so I guess the whole notion of dreaming is that we dream or should dream every day. And so it's about making where we are right now work for us, even with all of the differences that we have, and not lose the thought of we have a dream to share.
Okay. So I'm a studio owner and or teacher at this point. 2 years of struggling to be upbeat, trying to be a mentor to my kids. And as we begin 2022, I'm feeling a burnout. I'm having a hard time keeping up with this professionalism, personality that I must have. What do you say to me? I want to do good at this, but I'm tired as we head into a new year with new COVID issues going on, new decisions I have to make that somebody could be upset that I make. Talk to me about that.
Well, I honestly feel that we have to be real with what's going on around us and try to create a world that incorporates what's going on around us, but also the best world and the best decisions we possibly can make. So it would be saying to people, you know, in the middle of this, we all are tired and we're all doing our best, and help us to create what that best is going to be. So listen to the kids, listen to the parents, listen to your colleagues. What have you done that has helped you? And also know that it's okay to not always be on top of your game completely. Sometimes it's just okay to be, because you're allowing other people to be. So if you're up, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. But if you're not feeling that way and other people are also feeling like this is a strain, you're not allowing other people to be who they are if you're not open. And so it's about sharing that stuff and talking to people that you trust, and even the public, so much as it's going out. There won't be as many classes and things are going to have to be different in those classes. But how can we make it the best that we can? Because that's all that we can.
Okay, because I know us. I am always with that attitude. But then some mother or some child will be upset about something, and it kind of destroys that whole vibe of, okay, we can do this. I feel, I'm talking for the dance teacher or studio owner now, I feel like no matter what I do, there's always someone complaining about that decision that I made. It's consistent.
Yep. And it's probably going to continue to be consistent. And it probably has always been there on some level as well. And all that you can do is, listen to what they're saying and simply say, I feel sad and I feel bad that you're not quite satisfied. I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm hoping that we can provide what you need here. And if you want to be bold enough, you can say, but maybe we can't. And you can go somewhere, that might meet your needs. And I know, well, it's that's the reality.
I just
of it.
wondered where your somewhere was. That's all.
Yeah. Where were you going? But but that's all that you can do is to try to do the best that you can in terms of providing what they need. But there will be people that will constantly be dissatisfied, and there's nothing else that you can really do about that.
Rhee, in back to the beginning of the when you started talking about this, and we have to be on. I think we have to we can't be acting. We have to honestly have hope. And we have to get it from somewhere. We have to feel like there is hope, because what's the alternative? I can't go day by day thinking it's hopeless, because it's
That's
not.
right.
Nothing is ever hopeless. So I think I have to find some way to find within something that gives me hope. And that's the dreams part, I think. I think there's so many people doing some wonderful things out there in this climate. And why can't we be one of those people doing some wonderful things out there? I just think it's where we place our headspace at this point.
If you're absolutely dead on center. And the truth of the matter is that if we have expectations that are crazy and we can't meet them, then we're going to be down. But if our expectations are to be alive and to provide and to do, because that's who you are, I'm so delighted to always be invited into this group, because you are genuine people with real concern about others, lots of energy about you, and a genuine caring about. And so don't ever stop that. That's the dream. That's who you are. As studio owners, as dance instructors, that's who you are, and never lose sight of that. And that's part of the dream. And so whatever comes down the path, you do the best that you can and keep that dream alive. And even if it's that you have to take, a 10-minute walk out of the room, or you have to pour yourself a glass of wine or a cup of coffee at night and allow yourself to just reflect on your dream. It's really important. Don't lose sight of your dream.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't allow people to change us.
That's right.
We don't allow the circumstances of this whole thing to change who we ultimately are. Absolutely. And why we do what we do, right? So,
absolutely. You have a very important role in this, in the children and the people that come to you. You have a very important role, and don't ever stop appreciating yourself. Don't ever let other people try to maneuver that. I mean, I look at things when people are coming in as groups, and I take the top 10, say you've got 100 people, you take the top 10 that think you are the best thing since sliced toast, and you say, thank you. And then you take the bottom 10 that say, what the hell are you doing? And why are you, why can't my child do this? Why is my child still stuck in a certain level and not going up? You take the bottom group, you tuck them away. You actually take the top group that says you're the best thing since sliced toast, and you tuck them away, and you look at the middle piece. And the middle piece will be your consistent parents and kids that love it, that want to do well, and you can feed them, and you do well just being who you are, because you bring yourself to what you do. We all bring ourselves to what we do.
I want to say something. You just did a good description, Dr. Claudette, but what if I said to you it's 20 grand total people? Yep. 19 are happy. One is upset, and they can't go to bed at night because they're thinking about the upset one. It's not even 50%. It is
that one.
The sensitivity. Take it.
Well, that's the wonderful part about you, because you genuinely care and you're very sensitive. That's the detrimental part of you, that you might over-identify with that one person that says, I'm not happy. You have to look. That's why I'm taking the sliced toast, best things in sliced toast, put them away. The worst, put it away. Look at the middle group, which is your standard people that just love what you do, for their children. But you know, and if you are really caught up in that 1% and you can't let it go, you need to step yourself back and say, wait a minute, you know, I mean, am I forgetting that I am my best coach? I take the best care of me. I know myself better than this one parent that doesn't seem to want to like me today. I know who I am. And you jump back into that and you go back into your dream. This is the dream I have.
Dr. Claudette, is it healthy to compartmentalize and push that thought out of your head and push it and get rid of it? Is
Yes.
that the tool we should be practicing?
Well,
for stuff like that?
Well, if you have unreasonable people, or you have what you step yourself back and say, what are they expecting from us?
Mhm.
Yes, compartmentalize it, drop it off at the curb, gone. Yeah, because it doesn't help you to be, you know, to feed that to your mind. How we tell ourselves we are feeling will end up being how we are feeling. And so if we say, oh, we've been a failure here, we've been a failure, you'll end up being a failure. And so now if you've heard it, if there's 20 people in the room and you've heard it from 18 people that there's an issue, then you better step yourself back and say, I think I may have an issue here. But only if it's one or two. You wish them well. You don't create any battles. You wish them well, and then just put it aside. Does not help you to repeat negative information to yourself.
Before we go on, I just want to tell you this. We have people here from Wyoming, Florida, Shreveport, Louisiana, Scotland.
Wow.
Here's Khalil from England, Manchester, England. Welcome, my friend Judy Sullivan from Taunton, Massachusetts. Tessa from Alabama. How cool is that?
Wow,
Welcome,
that's
everybody.
Great.
So I'd love to give you this question that came through Dr. Colette.
Hey.
Oh, well, it's not a question. This is somebody saying, you know, when I made a joke about you saying you can go somewhere.
Yeah.
This person, and this is the truth, every time I tell someone they can go somewhere else, they end up staying. So it's actually having the confidence.
Right. And said nicely, not like, you don't like it, go somewhere else. It's like, I'm sorry that I might not be able to meet your needs, but if I can't, then please feel free to find another modality or another studio that can provide that for you. So you never want to chop off connections, but you need to speak your truth.
Awesome. Debra, I know you came with the question. I think this is perfect. Want to come a little closer to me?
Come a little bit closer. Is that a song?
Yeah. If it wasn't, we just made it one.
It is a song. My old man Jose from 100 years ago. Okay.
So I think I'm asking this for so many studio owners right now. In this climate, especially where we're second guessing ourselves in day-to-day life. And like everyone else around us is second guessing themselves. It's not just us. When we have to make a decision for our business and for our clients, and we know deep down, we know it's the right decision. How do we feel confident, or to help ourselves feel confident and not question constantly? Did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? Who am I going to get upset at me?
Well, I think that you need to sit back before you start making statements that you think may be controversial and say, what do I feel in my head? What do I feel in my heart? What does the letter of the law say to me that I must follow? And then, after you've made that decision about what you want to do, you might want to ask another person, that's another one of your colleagues, and say, this is what I'm thinking, and this is why I'm thinking it. And once you have that sense of, I know I must do this, and maybe you have an agreement from someone else, or maybe they'll make you think of something that might be slightly different, but in your gut, this is the right piece, then you have to put it out, because it's who you are. They're not coming, my opinion, they're not coming to learn technique. They're coming to learn a whole life piece, a way to move their body. They're coming to a real person who's going to teach their child to enjoy their life, not teach them certain steps. That's my gut. I'm not a dance teacher, but that would be my gut. They're coming for the experience of you. And when you start to fall short because a few people have said, oh, well, you can't say this and you can't, why are you following the letter of the law? You must. And if your gut and heart and letter of the law says you must provide this particular, guidelines, do it.
Yeah, and I'll add to that it's controversial right now. This whole COVID thing, people's beliefs, our own students will be diverse in their own beliefs. But for me, if I were to walk in and make a decision, let's say there's a mask mandate in our state, and I go in and I say, you know what? We have to put on masks. And I have somebody who is upset because I made that decision. It isn't me defending myself. It's me saying I could never expose other kids.
Right.
I could never legally have someone walk into my business. And what are we teaching our kids if I say you don't have to wear a mask, even though everybody in the room has to and is?
Absolutely.
So our decisions, even if we don't agree with them, have to be what is the right decision because of our influence on our community. And
right.
It's not easy. Debra, any comments on what I just said?
Yeah, I think that goes back to figure out your reasons for your decisions. And some people may have the opposite decision, and that's okay too. You're just gonna have to have conviction for whichever one you choose.
Right.
And you're gonna have to think about your clients first because you're in business.
Yes.
And yeah, you can't, I think that's, you can't think personally about it. The decision has to be made in an educated way in order for you to be able to put your head to pillow at night.
Absolutely.
And you have to be ready to explain it. And I like the word you just used, with conviction. Okay, I always say with confidence. No,
with conviction.
When it comes to this, it's with conviction.
Because some people may have a completely opposite view and so much conviction for it that they make you question you. And that's great. I find that to be great. I'd rather somebody had some unbelievable reasons behind it. We just have to make sure that we have reasons behind it, not excuses, but reasons. Yes.
And try not to ruminate over it either. That sense of ruminating. Did I make the right decision? Did I make the right decision? Before you put it out there, sit down with yourself quietly. We all need quiet time too. Quietly and say, this is what I need to say. This comes from my head. This comes from my heart. This comes from my experience. This comes from the letter of the law. And I'm going to put it out there and I'm not going to ruminate about it.
Okay, we'll come back to more of this in a second, but I know there's a lot of people who are viewing today who are dealing with this. My students, I was so excited to come back to live classes this year. Let me put it that way. But my students lack an enthusiasm. They almost seem like they themselves are depressed with life. They're not giving me what they gave me before. I'm working harder than ever before. I'm fearful that these kids are going to lose interest, but I'm struggling.
Well, I think that it goes back to being real with what's going on in the world right now. And I honestly feel that there is an underlying issue around depression with kids, with parents, with teachers. I think we're in a difficult time. And I think it's important to try to accommodate a little bit of that and not set expectations that are crazy. So when we set expectations too high, we set someone up to fail. And when they fail, they feel bad. And so again, with this kind of undercurrent of depression, do the best that we can to acknowledge that and say, I know this feels like it's a hard time, and it's a hard time for everybody. But what we're going to do is we're going to just do the best that we can. and kind of make it alive that way. But it's recognizing what's really going on, because I think it's such a false piece when there's no recognition about what's going on, and it's weird. So it's better off to kind of recognize a bit. I know you might feel a little sad and it feels a little bit different, but let's just do our best. That's all that can be expected right now, because we have an undercurrent of depression that's out there.
It is happening even with the teens, in your opinion.
I think it's clearly happening with the teens, because they're at a point that they're trying to make connections, and they're terrified of making connections, or they're saying, oh, the heck with that, I'm going to make the connections anyway. And then they create situations for, I think it's with everyone. I think it's with adults. I think a lot of people are trying to put a smile on their face, and it's hard to put a smile on your face when all this is going on.
I'm laughing because I do it. I'm sure everybody listening does it.
Yep.
You're stressed because of the time that we live in, whatever happened this morning.
Right.
But now you must put on that professional smile and move forward. And here's another thing that all teachers are going through, including myself. It's not always easy to motivate other people when you yourself are not feeling motivated.
Right.
Tough.
It's tough. It's really tough. And that's when you take care of you find the small things that make you happy, and you literally do them. You talk to other people, and sometimes you talk to somebody like me, who might give you some extra tips and tools to be able to try to, maneuver some of that. Don't sit in it yourself. Try to do things that make you feel good.
Okay. I want to say something, because in these last few years, I've been an advocate for mental health. Tell those who are listening why it isn't a weakness to go see somebody, because that's the problem. People they pull back. They're like, oh, well, I wouldn't want anybody to know, or that it's what's wrong with me. Explain that to our
I would be happy to, because I will tell you, quite frankly, I think when someone makes the decision and allows himself to go into counseling, it is a strength. It is clearly a strength. It's not about weakness. It's about being smart. I'm not feeling well, and I need to try to talk to someone to see if you had pneumonia and you say, oh, well, I certainly can't go to a doctor because I don't want them to see me as weak. Well, you might die of pneumonia. And seriously, but it's allowing yourself to know that I'm being strong when I do that. I'm selecting, I am being smart and taking care of myself.
Yes, it's part of your support system.
Absolutely.
We all need a support system.
Absolutely.
And especially right now, I think that the biggest part is we're in uncharted waters. There's some issues that are just not, it's not a right or a wrong answer. It's just what you feel. And that goes back to you have to feel that you're doing what's best. Because I don't ever believe that if you do something with a very open heart, that it's ever going to come back as a bad thing.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful explanation, because that is true. If you're coming from your heart, if you're coming from caring, and you're doing the best that you can, that's all that is expected. And you're right. It never comes back to bite you. It might mean that it has to be rearranged. It might need to be modified a little bit. It might be changed a little bit, but you're absolutely right. If you're coming from the right spot within you, it's never the wrong decision, even if it's painful for others. Yep.
Yeah, I see the question on a Facebook user says a large part of our parents don't believe in mental health. And I think it's maybe because of the word mental health. I think if it were just that it's their support system, you don't believe in a support system, it just sounds ridiculous that you wouldn't. But yeah, I think everyone should talk to somebody that's not involved in your situation for just another perspective. Because like you said before, that loop in our head, we believe what we tell ourselves. And so
absolutely,
when the kids are coming to us and they're feeling depressed,
yep.
I am a strong believer that we cannot add to that. We can't sit down with them and say, oh my goodness, yeah, you're right, it's all doom and gloom. We have to build them up in some way
Right.
The same way that someone else has to help us to come out of ourselves.
Right. Right.
And
remember that your role is about dance. It's not about, it is about mental health. It's about allowing a child to just wonderfully express themselves. But you're not a clinician, and you shouldn't get into that role of trying to be a clinician, because here's what happens. When that happens, then a child doesn't get the help he really needs. And the words can be, gee, it might be good for, your child to sit and talk with somebody. Just try it once or twice and see if it's helpful. Because if it's not, you don't have to continue. But it might be good for that, to have your child talk to someone a little bit. Just try it. So instead of saying, I think your child needs counseling, I'm going to give you the cards for the mental health department on the edge of our street, go, you need to see a shrink, those things just don't fly, but sit down and talk to someone. It might be helpful. And if it's not, it's okay. So it gives them power to see if it's going to work.
Right.
I think it's funny. I had never thought about the word mental health. That viewer wrote that parents don't believe in mental health. So yes, what was the word you just used? It's
going out.
Motivational talk. It's rap session.
Sit and talk with, you might sit and talk with somebody about some of that and see if it works. Give them the power. That's an important piece. Just try it and see if it works.
Give them the power.
Oh, give them the power that they can choose to not do that, or they can choose to try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, they can pull out of it. And they always have that option. But some people are nervous that if I go to see a shrink, they're going to take me over. And that's not that's not the role. The role is to bring someone to greater heights in terms of who they are and to listen to them. So, you might want to talk to someone, see how it works. And if it doesn't, it's okay. But you might want to talk to someone.
Yes, and to have them speak with someone that is educated,
right,
in a way that they need right now.
Right.
Because the same you said as a doctor, I'm not going to take my child who's got pneumonia to the vet. I'm going to take them to the person that's educated on how to treat a human.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I think it's it's maybe just the way we phrase it.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
Deborah, did you have another question?
I did. So a lot of times I know that we as studio owners, our deadlines come fast and furious, especially if it's a competitive studio. So, all of the seasons kind of start to gel and we have to get them ready 6 months ahead of time. And we find deadlines are being thrown at our head constantly, or parents are saying in January, do you know what the summer schedule is? So can you advise us on any tools that we can use when we're feeling that intense pressure and being overwhelmed by maybe what we feel would be an unrealistic expectation from the people that from our clients, or maybe even our staff?
I don't know if you want to give the dance studio professional edge of it, or if you want the psychological edge of that.
Go psychological, and then I'll jump in.
Okay. I think that, again, if you can give a light overview, which says, right now we're just working with what we have. We certainly want to be as, open and have as many classes or do as much as we can, but we don't know where that's going to be. So we're going day by day, and we'll be happy to inform you. We will be informing you as we get closer and seeing how we're all doing with what we have going for us now. Well, I want to know. Well, I can't give that to you, but please know that I will give that to you as soon as it becomes clear to me how we can be safe for our children.
So also I would probably respond, let's say, to the mom who's anxious to get the summer schedule. Yeah. I might not be prepared to hire my faculty yet because I don't know how many kids I can have in the building or whatever. But I might go back after I got that question, determine what days I believe I'm going to do it, and say, look, I can give you this much. Hold August 5th to August 10th. But it's going to be another month or so as things settle down and we can see what we're able to do before I can be more definitive. Are you cool with that? Boom.
Also, are there some emotional tools that we can draw from when we're coming home at the end of the night and we just feel like it's just all too much?
Oh,
Yes. You say, okay, when I put my little bum in my car and I'm leaving my studio, when you shut the door and you put the key in the ignition, I love my studio, I love my kids, but I also need to balance, because if I don't teach balance to my kids, they will fall over. And so I need to teach balance to myself. And so when I get in that car, I'm not in that mode. I am coming home.
okay. How do we do that? Meaning, I just got out of the studio. It's 9:30 at night. I'm driving home. And yes, it was a tough day. Actually, it's been a tough 2 years. I get in the car. I want to push it all out of my mind, but I'm having a hard time doing it. What are some tools to
You are the master of your mind. And if you choose to go and ruminate, just as we spoke about before, about this, then you're going to set your mind up to not shut it off. And so literally, you can almost hear me saying, when you put your bum on your car seat and you shut the door, that has to be a little cue for yourself that says, it's my time now. Because if I don't balance and I fall over, I have not helped anyone. And I certainly have not helped my family or the people that love me, that worry about me. And ultimately, I have not helped the kids. And so it's like, I need to shut that down. I need to know that I have to have my own time, because it's going to balance me as a person, so that when I go back into the classroom the next day, I'm invigorated. I've had time to sleep. I've had time to eat normally. I've had time to take care of things and connect with my family and my pets and all of that. I've had time to do that. Because if you don't do that, you're going to fall. It's really important. It's really important.
So then if I'm hearing that right, that is a practice skill, shutting it off. Is that what we're saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's why I keep saying, while laughing, when your bum hits the car, it's like, okay, that's my signal. I want you to physically have a signal. The signal is you're awake, or if your studio's in your house, when you shut that studio door, that's your signal. And I want you to visualize and even hear my voice say, shut that door, get my bum on that car seat. I'm done. I need to be done for today.
So many studio owners have to hear that in order to being in it for the long haul. 10 years ago, before all of this, was a challenge. But now couple this on top of it,
Huge.
Right? Pile this on top of it, and the challenge gets daunting. So that skill, we absolutely have to practice that. We've done the best that we can.
Yep.
That day, and we've got to let some of that go up to whatever we believe in, and let it go.
Oh, absolutely. Turn it over. And it's in your hands. It's not in my hands.
Right.
And I will tell you, one of the main courses that I took at Harvard that has been with me for all these years, I sat in a course and they talked about role and they talked about boundaries. Now you can imagine, if you're sitting with someone all day, sitting with people all day long with very heavy issues, if you can't shut that off, it doesn't mean you don't care. Doesn't mean you're not going to work your best. But if you can't shut that off at night, they tell you flat out, get out of the field immediately. You will not be able to function. And they test you all the way along in a doctoral program. And it's the same thing. If you can't shut that down, particularly right now, so the kids are not only coming in, but they're coming in with all of this, and you're trying to figure out how to make all of this work. And if at the end of the day, when you shut that door, put your bum on your car seat, if you can't shut that down, you're going to be in trouble. Very important. Boundaries, very important.
I want to go back to something. You and I, about 3 or 4 minutes ago, had a little talk about, okay, this is what I'd say to my parents. If Debra, I explained that, I'd say, here are the dates. That's as much as I can give you. And Erin writes, hang on though.
Yep.
She writes, but that isn't enough for the parents sometimes. I just said this, and sometimes that's not enough. I'm going to look you in the eye right now, Erin, and I'm going to go, but was it enough for you?
Yes.
Was it enough for you? Are you able to know that what you just said is the right thing? You can't give them something different than what you just said.
Right. And if somebody said to me, that's not enough, I need more, my answer to that would be, that's what I've got for you right now.
Yes.
You can't really fight with that. If I don't have anything more to give you, and that in the bigger sense of it, if I have nothing more to give you, you can't have it. Yes. I think
See, that's something I want to drive home in this conversation is to believe in yourself. You managed to keep your classes going or your doors open for the last 2 years, okay? And there are some studio owners and some teachers who have definitely not been able to do that. Which is sad.
Yeah.
But let that be what builds up your confidence to make the decisions that you know you have to make to continue rolling.
Right. And also know that you're a model to these parents that might be wishy-washy. And it's like, no, this is the letter of the law. I'm protecting your child and this other parent's child and myself so that I can continue to do what is going to help everyone in the long run. So you're a role model, and sometimes people don't like that, but that's on them. You can only define what it is that you need to do, that in your gut, in your head, in your heart, and at the letter of the law knows it's the correct thing to do.
And if some parents are looking to you,
yes, that's
what make that decision for them.
Yes,
because sometimes when they're coming at you with that question or that statement that's not quite so delicately put, it's coming from a fear, from an anxiety, and they can't stop themselves because they're not mean to be nasty or mean. It's just it's coming from a fear or an anxiety, and that's what's popping out. And so they're looking to you to help them.
That's the
because you've done it for so long, and you or even if you haven't, even if it's been 5 years, you've learned a lot. That's been a great education in what you've done, and you've been with the kids, which is the important part, is that you've learned where they're coming from. Sometimes you know more than a parent knows where their child is coming from because they've opened up to you, or you've seen them improvise or dance, and so you know what's coming from their soul, where their parent might not. Some of them might not know this yet. And so you have an important role, and you also, sometimes you're a voice for them. So, and parents will respect you if they believe that the decision was made for the good of their child. There are very few parents that have come at me. If I say, I've got to make this decision for your child, no one's going to come at you and say, please don't think of the well-being of my kid. They're not going to say that. So it makes them sound ridiculous.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Yes. As we wind down, you have another quote in that book, because your dream quote was really good.
I think, well, now you're going to,
put you on the spot.
Yeah, now you're going to put me on the spot. Well, one is always expect your best. Always, before you go to bed at night, just sit down and say, what was my best? Did I expect my best? No, I can't pull anything out of that. You'll have to just maneuver from what I... So I'm on a roll just in my head.
Give us some final words of wisdom. Wait, though, before you do.
Okay.
I want to make it through this year with the most positive attitude that I can have. It is a struggle. Got any words of wisdom for me?
I'm going to end the words of wisdom with the words that I started with. Don't ever give up your dream. Never give up your dream. Go with, this is what I want. This is what I'm hoping I can do. This is what I actually can do. This is what I cannot do. And that's okay, because we have to just be where we are, take into account where we are, do the best that we can. As dance instructors, as dance teachers and dance studio owners, that you genuinely care about people. You wouldn't be in the business. You wouldn't be in the business. When you talk about role, you have a big role. When you talk about kids that are able to express themselves through movement, as you said before, that parents have no idea that this child is expressing how they feel, what a wonderful role that you have. And value yourself in that role and value what you stand for. As you're right, some parents don't know what to do. What should I say? This is what I stand for, and use yourself as a marker, as a marker for parents to be able to learn from. Never give up your dream. Try to live as fully as you can, while also looking at what's exactly going on in this world right now.
And that those dreams could change.
Oh, and they're going to change
based on
who
you are now.
They're going, well, they want to, because if you stay stuck in one dream and one idea, you're not growing. And if you stay stuck, guess what? You're slipping. You're going down. You have to live fully and allow yourself to think fully and allow yourself to dream, because if you're just stuck, you're going down. So it will change. The dream will change.
Do you dream?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I dream a lot.
Okay, I think I might have just made you a little uncomfortable. But as older woman, you have dreams. You have places you want to go, things you want to do.
I still want to dance.
Okay. I think there's probably a bunch of people who would be happy to give you a private lesson, and you can give them a private session.
I will tell you that as a child, Rhee knows this very briefly. I wanted to dance. My mother wanted me to sing. I said, no, but I want to dance. And my mother said, no, I think you need to take singing lessons. So I took singing lessons, and I became a soloist, and I did all kinds of church music and events. But I always wanted to dance, and I never did. So Rhee said that maybe he would, do that. And I said, well, you better not put me in the group that people are coming in with walkers and in wheelchairs, dancing from a chair, because I will be so insulted, because I still want to move at 73. I still want to move. Yes, we should all want to move wherever we are planted.
I love that that's something that I'd like everybody to hear loud and clear, what you just said. You're 73, you're still dreaming. Those of you that are in your 50s and you've been at this a long time and you're not sure if this is the right thing or why are you feeling stuck, dream. I dream.
And as I said to Rhee, he would get a big bang, because every single day I dance. Now I dance in my kitchen, to the 1970s and to the 1960s. And I dance all over my kitchen. I have a wonderful time. And so I still dance.
There you go. Thank you, Dr. Claudette.
Thank you for inviting me to this world. Thank you for inviting me to this world. I so value the role that you play in this world.
I appreciate you. And when you talk now, I mean, this is probably our, 6th, 7th time we've talked to dance people. You have the lingo now. You're starting to really sound like you've been at this a while. I'm proud of that.
Keep inviting me.
Okay,
I love your group.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks for another coffee talk with Melissa Hoffman and Sandy Duncan. Thank you, Debra.
You're so welcome. I really enjoyed this.
So did I.
Thank you.
Thank you all.